Mr. Rogers Holo, thank you very much for joining us on Dateline Abuja.
Thank you for having me.
How does it feel marking this year's World Refugee Day under COVID-19 pandemic?
Thank you very much for having me again on this very specific occasion. Yes, today we are celebrating World Refugee Day. It's a unique opportunity for UNHCR, for the government of Nigeria, for ECOWAS in this country to sit and reflect on our services, our protection services, our assistance services to the refugees and to the IDPs in this country. Of course, marking World Refugee Day during the COVID-19 pandemic era is a big challenge. You will understand that when you are a refugee, when you are an IDP, you are already vulnerable, you are already underprivileged. And if you have to now deal with COVID-19 on top of it, it's really challenging for us. But more than that, it is even more challenging for the POCs, as we call them, for the refugees, the IDPs. And that is why today we are happy to see the commitment made by the government, the commitment made by ECOWAS, the commitment made by the entire UN system. In the world, you heard the message from the Secretary General himself calling on more attention, more support for the IDPs and for the refugees.
Well, talking about support, let's look at this $186 million appeal that has been launched by the Refugee Agency. Now, part of it is for prevention and perhaps response for the COVID-19. In specific terms, what area of responses are you channeling these resources if it comes into the kitty?
Many areas, because you know we started the discussion around the COVID-19 pandemic. For us, that's a priority area. That is health and what we call WASH. That is water and sanitation. Because all the prevention measures for COVID-19 response is in those two important sectors. And these are sectors that cost a lot. If you are talking about health, if you're talking about water and sanitation, you can't prevent COVID without running water. It's absolutely necessary. But you know, in most of our camp, most of our host communities, running water is not always available. So for us, these are the two main areas of support. And then you have all the other protection issues that come with the COVID-19 pandemic. The restriction of movement, people can't go about their businesses. You all also heard about the peak in the GBV incident. This is sexual and gender-based violence incident. We also have to address these issues. You have, because people can't go freely about their about their businesses, about their livelihood activities. You have violence increasing in the households, and you have to address all these issues. So I would say health, water and sanitation, and protection, of course.
Yeah, we'll be talking about gender-based violence in the course of this conversation, but these key areas that you pointed out, is that the story across all the regions, especially your Sahel strategy?
It does, because that is why I was happy that you mentioned the UN appeal, because it's not only UNHCR appeal, it's a UN appeal. As you'll see, you have, for the COVID-19 response, it is being coordinated by WHO, as you know. But you have all the other UN agencies on board. You have UNICEF, you have UNHCR, you have WFP. As we speak, it is WFP that is supporting the movement of cargo and humanitarian personnel across the world. This is not possible anymore because of the restriction because of COVID-19. So we are working together, and the appeal is really for a joint action. And we are, of course, you know that we are working also in Nigeria with the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19. So we are supporting the government to respond in these areas.
stories about early pregnancies, gender-based violence, like you rightly pointed out a while ago, keep coming out of these camps, and even in the larger society for that matter. Now, how do you intend, I'm sure by now probably you're looking back at your strategy and looking at what you're going to do differently. Tell me about it.
The biggest issue we have during this COVID-19 area is really the limits in our access to the people. In our daily work, we are in contact with the IDPs, we are in contact with the refugees, we are in contact with the communities, with the people. With this restriction on movement, the prevention measures, this contact is not there anymore. It's not there anymore. This is the first challenge, and that is why we see really the increasing numbers of violence being reported. In normal setting, these incidences are not even reported. You know how some communities deal with these kind of issues. So with our presence, with the presence of NGOs, with the presence of civil society organizations in the field, together with the government official, these issues were being addressed. But now, because we can't go out, we have this challenge. We have reviewed, as you rightly said, our strategies. One thing we did was also to see how we could empower the communities themselves, IDPs, refugees, host communities, by setting up what we call a community-based protection mechanism. These are people from the communities who come together, who are trained, who are equipped, who are now taking on these protection issues, who are conducting awareness-raising activities, who are also helping to report. But we still have a gap, because even if this, when these incidents are reported, the follow-up is another issue, because again the services are limited, are restricted, to be more specific. So the challenge is still there, and we continue to work on that. This morning we mentioned to you that we have come up with innovative ways to address these issues. We have set up WhatsApp groups for people victims of violence to also speak up, to report, so that at least they can receive support. But to be honest with you, it's really challenging.
The reported cases we're having now, I mean, I assume you are familiar perhaps a little bit with the judicial system in the country. Do you think we have adequate provision for punishment?
We do. The most important thing is for this to take place. Again, with the COVID-19 restrictions, this is not very easy. For example, in the Northeast, we were supporting what we call mobile courts. Because, of course, you know the security situation in the Northeast. We used to work with the Ministry of Justice to bring the justice near to the IDP communities. This is not possible anymore. But one important thing that we also need to share with you is that very recently in the Northeast, there was a virtual court. This was the first of its kind, and we believe that these innovative approaches could help really to address this issue of access to justice, because access to justice is important in really also curbing down these numbers of violence.
Really, really challenging time, wouldn't you say? Well, I thank you very much once again for coming, Rogers Hollow.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
It's time to go now. Thanks for staying with us. Please follow guidelines while at places of worship. Wash or sanitize hands before entering, and leave 2 meters between yourself and the next person. Let's continue these conversations online through the email address and Twitter handle on your screen. Also, be sure to share anything that is happening within your locality with us. Let me also remind you once again that you can view the program on youtube.com/channelsweb/videos. I'm Ibrahim Adra. We urge you to stay safe. We'll see you next time.